So welcome to Mindshifters Radio. Today is Wednesday, July the 15th, 2026. Welcome, Angie. Welcome, Susan. And welcome, Michael.
Thank you, dear heart, and welcome, everybody. Delighted that you're here. And, of course, we want to check in and see how Susan's doing this morning.
Oh, my gosh. Just freaking the depth of whatever this is.
Breathe all night?
Pretty much. It's... What the heck? I'm being with myself fully. Let's put it that way. Whatever's coming up, I'm just being with it. I don't understand. Lots of tears, just depth of tears, depth. So, just trusting.
Well, remember that understanding is the booby prize.
I know.
I
do. This whole thing wanting figured out. And I also see, blockage to truth. We're numb and also dissociate. This piece, it's all on the whole right side, whereas I've lived in dissociation my whole life. So I'm just being with it, and whatever needs to come up, I'm allowing it.
So welcome back home.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back home to yourself and moving through it.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. I'm coming back home. There's nowhere to go. It's all inside. And all that's in the blockage, as of Course in Miracles says, all the blockages to the awareness of love's presence within myself. And that's what I'm facing. And ancestral, collective, doesn't matter. It's all, I'm looking at it all. So thanks for asking.
Breathing with you through it.
Thank you so much, Michael, and Jeanie, and everybody else. And Esbjørn, thanks for sending me the message, Esbjørn, too. That was very kind to check in. Appreciate that.
All right, well, holding the space. And Angie, we haven't heard your voice on this show in a long time. Anything for you to share? If you do, you just hit your mute button, *6 if you're on a phone, and that will unmute you, and we will have a conversation. And if that doesn't work, that's okay too. Go for it. You're unmuted.
Hey, Angie.
So, Angie, we can't see you, but we can see that you've unmuted your phone or your computer, whatever it is. So, nope, went on mute again. Okay. We'll let that go and say hello to Bridget. Welcome back. How's the arm doing? I hope you're, the shoulder, I hope you're on the other side of that, moving in the right direction. You need to unmute.
New phone, so I had to.
Learning curve.
Yep. Here's the shoulder. I just got my staples out yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And here's the it's an IV pick line.
Right.
So
still on antibiotics.
Yeah. So I administer IV antibiotics every night to myself, by myself. The first week was difficult because my mom relapsed, and she's stuck on it. So a couple nights I had to go to the hospital to get it done. But then when my nurse came and I called and told the nurses what I'm going through. Excuse me, I'm in bed in my garage. I moved out to the garage. I don't care if it's 104 degrees. It's more peaceful out here.
So things are moving in the right direction?
My nurse put a long line on my IV so that it's like a long IV line instead of a little
right.
port.
Yeah.
a long line, so I can use both hands to do it myself, so it's not a problem.
Cool.
So, you know, with every bump in the road, the universe just blesses me with, so I need a card, I need a place to live. I went to an amazing AA meeting. I'm going to be addressing it on Saturday, and my sponsor, it's a group of like 40 people with most of, like,
Cool.
they
So,
it,
so once
yeah.
again, I'm going to remind you that we're
Oh
doing
yeah, the
story.
story, the
And the
story. I don't
question
need
is,
to
how
tell.
are you doing? That's what we're interested in.
I'm
You know,
doing
here's the thing. Here, what I'd like to offer, and I'll offer this to everybody. We all have so many stories. Like, what was it, Dragnet? A million stories in the Naked City. If we just tell our stories, we'll never get any healing done. So my invitation is to let go of story, and we want to be with what's really going on for you and how you're doing, and see if we can, so there's anything we can support you with. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm blessed, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed, y'all. So, and I'm laying in bed today and kind of keeping it on the down low. So I'll let someone else speak. And if something comes up, there's stuff, but I don't want to talk right now. So God bless you, all
Okay.
of you.
Well, then we'll just hold the space with you and breathe with you and cherish you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay. Take care. I'll talk to Lisa this morning, and she indicated that she was going to be with us to continue with the Power Person Worksheet, but I don't see her yet. So let's see if Esbjørn has anything to share with us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I've been going through some rough patches, querying a whole load of things and feeling through all my different options. I'm moving forward. So without going into the story, I evaluated the different options that I have, and feel that the right thing to do is move ahead in the line heading towards Canada.
Awesome.
With
Awesome. Well, we'll say welcome to North America when you get here.
Thank you. I will announce it on the show when I get there.
Cool. Well, we'll be holding a space, and
I have thoroughly enjoyed the shows about the Power Person Worksheet. Not always being with you in the live, but doing my best to keep up with them in the YouTube, to be up to speed with it, because it was actually the first day that I joined you on the show that you brought it up and published it in the comments, and I downloaded it, and I couldn't work out how to use it. So thoroughly enjoying this thorough going through of it step by step, and I so appreciate Lisa and Susan, especially. Both of them have been the most active people, and you as well, of course, Michael.
that was a pretty powerful day yesterday, wasn't it?
It was
Pretty awesome. Yeah. Susan's courage is exemplary.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have anything else to process or anything else to go through. It's I'm doing well. I see that Kathy has come on as well now, so I don't know whether she has anything to offer, and I'll leave the space open.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Just say hello. Sally sent me an interesting link, which I'll suggest everybody watch. And this is an interview with a lawyer, actually, who is at Harvard University teaching forgiveness. And he has a pretty powerful story, and his life's work now, as opposed to playing attorney, is to bring forgiveness to the world. And he has a different perspective on it. But in his story, he perfectly describes the whole power person dynamic and such. And it's someone I'm definitely going to get in touch with and see if we can coordinate, because we've got some pieces. He's got one piece that his forgiveness process consists of, and it's just one thing. And I'm going to add it to the worksheet. And it's just a simple visualization of tap into what your resentment is and just imagine what your life would be like without it. In this interview, that's what he put forward as his understanding and definition of forgiveness. But the other side of it is he's got all kinds of scientific research. They've got the equipment to do, show what's going on in the brain and such. So it's a really good listen. So and if you go to Spotify, I don't know whether it's on YouTube or not, but the link that I was sent is on Spotify, and it's an interview, unabridged interview, the title of it, if you've got Spotify, unabridged interview, James Kimmel, Jr. Not Jimmy Kimmel, but James Kimmel, Kimmel. So I encourage everybody to look that up and give it a listen. It just really affirms so many things that we're doing. It's so in line and so in tune with what we're doing. It's a powerful listen and another perspective on this whole process of undoing the past, stepping into the truth of who we are as human beings. So I invite everybody to give a listen to that. And thank you, Sally, for sending me that link. Much appreciated.
What was the link again? Unabridged what?
The title of it is Unabridged Interview. It's actually, I don't know where the number comes in, but the full title is 269 : Unabridged Interview. James Kimmel, Kimmel, Jr. And you'll excuse me if there's some noise in the background. I just came down the hill from unloading things at our storage unit, and the rain is starting. So while I'm doing this, I'm taking some of the things that are sensitive to being rained upon and moving them out of the trailer. So I'm a little bit distracted for a moment, but I'll be back. All right, well, let's see if I've gotten a text back from Lisa. Nope. Well, I guess we'll go with the idea of doing that. And does anyone have a direction you'd like to go? Any questions about the Power Person Worksheet or the forgiveness process, anything we're doing? And if not, I'll just jump into another topic. Just got in the car out of the rain. Well, then I think I'm going to shift over into one of the writing topics that I'm working on with the end of suffering. It's been really, what should I say, inspiring, productive, and inspiring to be here. And the writing that's coming together is taking things to a whole other level with the book. It's all Greek to me. So I'm taking, excuse me, I had expected we were just going to go ahead with the worksheet, but I'm taking a moment to step into an alternative topic. And I'm going to bring forward a quote that used before. Hello?
Oh, sorry
Susan?
about that. Yeah, sorry about that. That was Kitty Cat did that.
Well, she must want you to
She's
say
I
something.
know she's. Yeah, she unmuted me. Very funny. Okay.
Okay. So a quote that we have used before on this show, but bringing together the real world consequences of engaging in that which organizes the energy that becomes our physiology in the so-called physical world. Listening to Einstein say, literally, on such things as matter, we have been all wrong. What we have heretofore called matter is energy. Energy whose vibrations have been so low as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter, Einstein tells us. So if there is no matter, what do we have? Well, what the lab is showing us is that when you think a thought, that thought literally becomes a molecule in your body, which circulates around, or what you call your body, your energy field. And it circulates around in the energy field until it finds an antenna, a match, an alignment, a receptor site. And that thought, that neuropeptide, if we were sitting inside of what we call the cell, on the level where we see matter, if we were sitting inside of it, we would say, oh, look, through that receptor site, something's coming in this cell. What is it? Oh, it's chemistry. Of course, it's not chemistry. It's the neuropeptide. On the level where our senses operate, we've labeled that chemistry. But in fact, what it is a vibratory frequency of a thought that then becomes part of the expression of the cell. If the thought is in harmony with our coherent state of functioning out of love, then that so-called chemistry is going to be supportive, uplifting chemistry in the cell. If it is of a disintegrative nature, an incoherent nature relative to the cell, then somebody's going to look from the outside and they're going to say, oh, that cell has a disease. So my bottom line offering here is to recognize there is no such thing as physical disease. There is physical expression of disease. And for a metaphor to make sense of that, if I go into the back of your television set and I cut open every wire, every transistor, every resistor, every capacitor, every line on the circuit board, I can cut it all open. I will not find a picture in there. There is no picture in your television set, but you're seeing one on the screen. Well, it's on the screen. It must be in the TV. No, it's not in the TV. What's in the TV are frequencies. And the device has been designed so it converts frequencies into a picture and into sound. I can cut every bit of that television apart. I will not find one iota of sound in there. It appears like there must be sound in a picture in there because, look, I can see it and I can hear it. But that's not, your senses aren't telling you the truth. And it's not until we get to being able to see things through the eyes of truth that we can ever do anything real about it. So here's Max Planck, who got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the quantum theory of matter. And here's what he says. In all of my research, I have never come across matter. Now, with this, when you listen to this fellow's interview that I suggested you listen to, James Kimmel Jr., you'll hear him talking about the lab and the lab measurements and the chemistry and what happens in the brain and all of that, as though chemistry is real. It's not. It's not real. any more than the picture in the TV is real. Well, it's real back where the camera took a picture of it. Yeah. But everything from the time it was put into the storage system of the camera is all just frequency. Just like your so-called body, just like your mind, just like your relationships, just like your money, just like everything in your world. So here's Max Planck giving us this, the long and short of it. In all my research, I have never come across matter. To me, the term matter implies a bundle of energy given form by an intelligent breath. Now, he says spirit, but he's been tricked by the world, the mistranslation of the word ruka de kudsha from the Aramaic into spirit, which in Aramaic there is no such idea and no such word, no such concept. That was superimposed by the Greek and Latin cosmologies on the cosmology of the man named Yeshua. So by an intelligent breath. He goes on to say, as a man who's devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter. See here, he's going to tell us matter exists, right? No, he says, I've spent my career studying matter. And I can tell you, as a result of my research about atoms, there is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. He goes on to say, we must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is a matrix of all matter. I would add an edit to it, a conscious or an unconscious mind. Because if we're just running, we run into a situation, somebody turns their head and gives us the look, and it's the same look that Dad gave us all 77 times that he beat the hell out of us. And that look resonates frequencies from that power person dynamic with Dad. And now flowing through, and if one had the instrumentation, they would measure it and say, look, here's the chemistry of hate, here's the chemistry of fear, here's the chemistry of sadness, here's the chemistry of pain. But they're not chemistry. It's not chemistry, it's frequency. Thank goodness. There's a great line in the Course of Miracles. It says, you believe that your problem is outside of you. If it were, you would really be in trouble. But it's not. Everything that appears to be outside of you, everything that your mind shows you, every picture it shows is a reflection of a particular frequency of mind energy in you that builds the world that you think you see. Hence, the number one lesson in the Course is what? I have given this all the meaning it has for me. Well, certainly that raging moron out there isn't the reason. Well, okay. So you've given somebody the meaning of a raging moron, so now heal your raging moron. You're responsible and forgive. Let it loose, let it go. When you've freed yourself of all hostility and fear, everything based in pain, and in the presence of what you yesterday called the raging moron, you can stand connected to love and breath, then you will become a transformer of the world. You'll become a shift point in the world. And so instead of holding one's breath in the presence of fear, hostility, or excessive stress, which locks this disintegrative energy into tissue, and that's the root of all disease processes in both the so-called body and mind, what Planck is explaining is the truth of this dynamic. Physiologically, how disintegrative energies interfere with the coherent state. Literally on the atomic level, as Planck is explaining it. When we introduce a disintegrative energy into a coherent system, the coherent system starts to break down. If there's breakdown in your physiology, stop looking for the physical. Now, that doesn't mean don't pay attention to what's going on in the physical. if you've been ingesting poisons for 30 years, yes, stop ingesting the poisons. And then start asking yourself, what's the mind energy in me that had me attracted to a poison that I can forgive and let go of that resonance to the poison? And as I approach and learn the skill, to me, one of the major skills that Yeshua is inviting us to engage in, inviting us to develop, is to go literally into our tissue structure, into our cell, and reverse the process of the neuropeptide becoming what we call chemistry in the cell, but being able to breathe into the cell, access that neuropeptide, transmute it back from its chemical appearance to cognitive awareness, or even back to non-cognitive awareness, but in the presence of breath. The breath creates the dissolution of that energy. And bingo, all of a sudden there's healing. The game changes. So instead of living in a physical disease state, a mental or emotional disease state, recognize that these energies that are locked into the mind are around unresolved issues, perhaps from our personal lives, and perhaps not, but from our whole generational bloodline. And when we engage in these frequencies from the past, when they're stored in the cell and a situation resonates those energies, they are raised up out of the cell as a frequency, and the ability of the cell to convert a thought into a picture. Now we see a world based in the mind energy that's been aroused by this situation. And that cuts us off from the actuality of what's going on. And one of the objectives of this work is to return to actuality. Now, in the Aramaic language, those disintegrative energies were called sin. It's not anything to do with morals. It has nothing to do with this whole fear-based trip of you're a sinner and, you need to be forgiven. And you will never be forgiven for anything, because forgiveness has nothing to do with letting you off the hook for what you've done. Perhaps you've been the most immoral, amoral, tragic person the world has ever seen. And all that means is there are frequencies in your carbon-based memory system, in your genes, that don't belong there. You will never be forgiven for that. You don't need to be forgiven for that. Forgiveness isn't about that. Forgiveness is about the technology of how you go into your cells and remove what never belonged. Removed those things that caused the amoral, immoral, tragic behaviors. So it isn't the forgiveness for sin that we're suggesting to anyone. It's the forgiveness of sin, the removal, where the Greeks turned it into a pardoning game. They replaced forgiveness with pardoning. Oh, I'm going to let you off the hook for what's happening inside of me. And so letting you off the hook for what's happening inside of me does nothing to change what's happening inside of me. Forgiveness is designed to change what's happening inside of me. So I'm going to just open the floor and see if, as a chunk of information, I know it's a review for many, but if that chunk of information makes sense, and if anyone has a thought. And welcome, Sally. I was sharing earlier and gave everybody the link that you sent to me this morning. That was just a great interview. I'm definitely going to connect with that gentleman, and I'm definitely going to put his visualization into the worksheet. It's a nice piece to put it in it, and I see us being able to connect and really synthesize what we're doing in a way that's going to take service to humanity to the next level. Any thoughts for you?
Welcome. Yes. Thank you for all of that you just shared, because I was feeling, when I was listening to the podcast, I was thinking, okay, it's a good beginning, and it's really important for, raising the awareness of the culture. So I appreciated his research and his, just pointing to revenge as an addiction, and the idea of hostility being the food of revenge is important. Yeah, so everything's kind of like bouncing around in my head like a pinball machine right now, but it's so important. And I appreciated, but the first thing I wanted to do with that podcast, of course, was share it with my brother. And then I immediately chuckled. I did share it with my brother. And I chuckled thinking he is just a clear expression of his rage, including this morning before I left the house to go do my work. It was fascinating. I had told my mom I'll spread the mulch before I leave because it's going to be a 93 or 4 today and I'll get it done early. So I had this big bag to manage, and I figured if I think it through, I can do this myself, which I was prepared. I was on my way out to do it, and I'd done the heavy lifting part. And then my brother comes blazing out the door in a blaze of anger, like talking to himself, like, I don't know what he said. I was just taking the wagon, moving the mulch to where it needed to go. And the next thing I knew, he was manhandling this big bag of mulch and, angry every minute. And I'm thinking, that's how he hurts his, he goes into back pain. And most of the time when he approaches a task, he's angry. And so he has done none of this work, okay? But I have. And I just get real quiet when he does one of these and just keep, going along, getting the next step done. I have learned, thank you, God, not to react and not to cower. I used to get real small and invisible and disappear. I don't do that as much anymore. I still do it a little. But it was interesting to see over the past year of just practicing this process of allowing and then letting go and breathing in, breathing out. He has changed. He has begun to soften. He has begun to at least sometimes interrupt when he goes into these rage, or the revenge shows up many different ways. He throws things all around in the garage, and it makes things difficult to find. And it's just been interesting because I know where he got it. I mean, our power
Sounds like
person
he's got a
father.
lot of suffering. Sounds like he's got a lot of suffering going on.
He does. He does. He passed the bar exam in Ohio, one of the top ranking ever bar exams in this state, and practiced law for 2 years, became suicidal, and decided that the job would kill him, and which may have been an accurate assessment. And he quit the practice of law and he has been unemployed for 35 years. I think he quit at 32 years old and has never worked since. And he plays music, he writes music when he can. And I love him dearly. He's 4 years younger. When I was young, I took care of him a lot. And yet, these rage attacks, my mom just looks at me and says, can you fix this? And I look at her and I say, no one outside of him can make a choice for him. He has to choose it as himself. And I'll provide. Yes.
I got a question for you, and I just want you
yes.
to breathe. I just want you to breathe for a minute before I ask it. And I want you to go inside.
You.
I want you to go inside.
Okay, let me do it.
Okay.
Almost there.
Okay. Just and then a breath coming right into the present moment in your heart.
Okay, I'm there.
And so what is this beautiful reflection telling you about you? When you look in the projector of your heart, and as you breathe and you've created this projection of this brother and externalized it in your outer world to inform you about you. And he's an aspect of you.
Right, right.
And
I
is it,
think,
just breathe for a minute. I just want to, because I want to tag into the energy and then we're going to see if we can find it. So just breathe as I ask these questions.
okay.
Coming into that. And could it be what you're seeing is your unprocessed rage? And
Could be.
because you have, parentified young, you had lots of responsibility as a young girl. Even when you and I went to the retreat and you saw what I was going through, and I saw you being the little girl saying, I'll just do better. And you were right at the age of wanting to just do better, that you had to be more and be different and show up differently, and all the responsibility and the weight on a little psyche. And now, here you are with this same character who's in your day-to-day life, exhibiting this ongoing rage. And I noticed in the conversation, it was a lot of talking about him and where he's at with his rage. And now can we take that mirror and say, what is this all about? My journey. What is it reflecting about me? And all of you is invited. That's what I want to say. The parts of you that weren't met, the parts of you that had all this responsibility of younger siblings that was placed upon you, which is too much for a young psyche to take on, and yet you did it. And then finding yourself in the rage that was in the family, this energetic pattern of rage going around and around, and how you had to navigate and change your identity to fit in this system of rage in the family system, and how you moved yourself, your identity, and being the sensitive soul that you are. It would have been overwhelming. And who likes to move slow and take time to read the environment and feel the energy before she takes movement, and being forced into that you got to act now, you got to do it this way, it's got to look like this.
And breathe.
Yeah, and just breathing into that.
I am.
And we're all breathing with you.
Yeah, and that, just breathing with that. And for the sensitive spirit that you are, the sensitive spirit that you are, that had to fit in to this lower mind frequency energy of hostility and rage. And that was your true nature was above that. And you were forced into this for whatever the soul's evolution. And I just want to offer that your brother is your deepest gift, because he's going to take you through the shadow to find this peace, so the gift can be unlocked and you can find your Siddhic nature. And this rage is between you and that, but yet it's unprocessed because you were never allowed to feel that. You had to hold it together for everybody else. And then I just want to say to that little girl inside that all of you is invited, and all of your big feelings are invited. All of your big feelings. And you're invited to exist, and you're wanted because you were wanted by life, because you were here. You are accepted by God because you exist. And you are loved because it is your true nature.
Is everybody breathing?
Yes, I'm breathing.
Yes, I'm breathing. I'm feeling tingling in my hands and my arms. While Susan was speaking, I had sadness come up a couple of times, more than a couple. I had a tinge of tightness in my chest at one moment when she said the word overwhelm, and I breathed, and that tightness went away. And then more sadness came.
And you know, when we were parentified at a young age,
And I
and
do
then
think,
taking
true,
that forward, that parentified, that you're, whether you take on the responsibility physically of like younger siblings and what that, I'm going to use this word because it is a burden to the psyche, that of a psyche that it's too much to bear. That's overwhelm. It's too much to bear.
And not only too much to bear, but it actually stunts the development of the psyche,
Yeah.
which is why we need to take time to breathe and be with and allow that to mature.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And for you and I, being parentified, feeling responsible for my mother and at a young age, and also taking on over responsibility of others without their permission, even as just because it's gotten the merging and identification with another being. And even the fact that you said instantly you wanted to go give that video, that interview to your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love for you to go back and really absorb that again for yourself.
Yeah, I have a couple times today.
Yeah.
I've listened 3 times.
It's going to go deeper the next time you listen. It will, I promise you, it's going to go way deeper.
Wonderful.
And
I'm
as
very,
we,
very happy about that.
yeah, and as we just sit in, there is no one here but God. And all we have different expressions based on the frequency of the vibration, which Michael said we're holding in our own psyche, in our own mind. And then we create the actors, we project them in our mind, and then we externalize them into the outer world to find ourselves and to heal all that is in the blockage to the truth that we are, which is love. So if rage is around you at that state, and it's being in your field, and there's a charge and you still find yourself maneuvering, but being able to hold it, where is that? Either the question, where is that within me? Or where can I hold as a conduit the foundation of this hostility, which is rooted in fear, in the family system, where love did not get to flow, and they replaced the love, the mind energy of love, with fear and hostility in order to cope this world. And you, beautiful soul, you get to hold the space of God in all of its glory, and knowing that you can hold the space for the transmutation, the liberation of this energy, and the transmutation back to love. And as you do this, the burden will fall off your brother of carrying the family system energy of rage and hostility. And he will return to his true nature, which is love.
Amen.
Notice that the family that's here with you now is breathing with you and just holding a space of support. Each one, as they breathe, processing any tinge of this issue that they hold, that we hold, breathing into it, letting loose of it. Knowing the truth of the thought from A Course in Miracles, when you are healed, you are never healed alone. You're opening another energy window in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we are doing it for the collective. The rage that has and hostility that has the collective gripped in separation. And that is the illusion.
How are you doing, Sally?
Good. Very, very, very good. I'm
Anything to share?
enjoying the family. I'm enjoying our collective breath. I'm grateful for the opening. I'm grateful. It really brought tears to my eyes when Susan said, "Your brother can heal with you." That would be my greatest hope. I've loved that kid my whole entire life.
You mean there's a part of him that resonates the truth of your being as love as well as some of that other stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sweet.
Absolutely.
So that would be a good thing to tap into and breathe into and see if there's any physiological resistance to allowing that to become the dominant energy for you in that relationship. To allow that to reach into any part of your structure that has been harmed, hurt through that interaction, to allow that presence to really, that remembrance of the truth about yourself and the truth about him, where you are really both the presence of love.
And Sally, as you were speaking that about your brother, I've loved him in my whole life. This is what I heard. I love the part of me that is him my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And finding that same depth of love that you have felt for him is actually you. And bringing that home to yourself.
And allowing that life, that presence to flow into every cell that holds any energy other than love.
This one little piece is coming through. So in family constellation, when an energetic pattern does not be brought into belonging, or an ancestor doesn't get brought into belonging that holds that energy, further generations down the line will take on that energy to play it out with the intention of bringing that back to truth and wholeness. And these patterns just replicate over and over until there's one ancestor, Michael says, that turns around and faces the flames and says that the buck stops here, and we're all doing it, face whatever is necessary to return this family system back to love. So I for whatever reason, to offer that so you can look at him with objectivity. And yes, I know you can see the patterning of what you grew up with, and you can see, of course, wanting to be the lawyer, what's imposed upon, the delivery that you have to perform, all of that, which you guys were marinated in. And his soul has agreed to hold this energy forward so it can be liberated.
Mm-hmm.
He's in great service to this family system
Yes.
in deep service that his soul, the human, doesn't understand, and there's a lot of wounding, of course. His own identity, there's many layers I could feel in his field, and which were imposed upon him, that he's not good enough and all that stuff. So he's got a lot of self-hate, all these patterns, but they will get unwound. And you both had an agreement that you would come in and you would heal your own mind, so the reflection would be different, so that he could step into his true identity. You guys had a pact with that energy, and you knew you would have to heal your own mind for that to be revealed. And that's for all of us, by the way. It's not just Sally. We're all our characters that give us, that we perceive as the biggest obstacles, are really our biggest light opportunities.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
The field's already changing, Sally. It's already starting to open up.
And that free flow of breath through every cell in your structure, letting go of all restrictions of the breath of life. Bring that breath in so that
No,
every disintegrative energy weakens. Go ahead, Sally.
oh, my signal got interrupted. So I heard you say that free flow of breath. And then
Yes, what I was suggesting was that you allow that free flow of breath to, as it moves through your physiology, to seek any place there's any tightness, any resistance, any reflection of remembering that in Aramaic, Satan is physiological. The word Satan means the resistor, one who misleads. And so just as you hold your brother in that space of love, imagining what it would be like to be free of all fear around him. Allow your breath to flow into any place that your physiology is holding any tightness or resistance.
that's big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just allow yourself, and it might be a practice that unfolds over weeks, months, whatever time period is needed, to just on subtler and subtler levels to notice where even the minute tension is. There's a powerful thought in the Course in Miracles that says the smallest resentment covers the deepest rage. And I think what it's speaking of there is generationally these patterns that we allow a little bit of them to leak through, but if we really open up, and one of the reasons why a lot of people don't or won't open up is because what's going to have to be faced, and they think they have to do it alone. And the beauty is the breath does it for us. The breath handles, literally brings the intelligence, brings the healing power that's needed to let that physiological resistance go, and whatever's stored in that tissue to open and simply be dissolved. It's called forgiveness. We're joining you in deepest levels of forgiveness.
I am so grateful.
Here's one other piece, Sally, because I faced it yesterday. So you guys saw my friend here, who I've known since childhood.
Oh, Heather.
Heather, yes, I've known her since childhood, and a beautiful soul, like always shows up in love. And yet I have deep resentment there's an energy there, and I'm like, what is that about? Because there's love there. But I recognize yesterday, and this might interplay between you and your brother, there's two parts that are playing out. One, my nervous system needs to feel safe in order for love to come in, to flow in. And this has to do with being parentified at a young age. And when my nervous system doesn't feel safe, that I'm supported and can be held by another in the relationship, then I move into thinking I have to carry it. And then resentment starts to form. And this is happening energetically. This is not even at a conscious level. So when Heather comes into my field, because she's more passive and she moves a lot slower than I do, and yet her decisions, for whatever reason, my nervous system doesn't perceive that as rest. And when she's in my space, I can feel the energy, and I just discovered this yesterday. And so then I find that the energy in my system feels I have to carry the relationship. And then resentment starts to build up, and this energetic exchange is happening. And then I see patterns that I feel she's not, and there's behaviors that that has done where my nervous system sees as a cue of unsafety. And then resentment starts to play. And thankfully, we love each other very much, and we can talk about these things. And, you know, over the course of God, I've known her since I was 9 years old. So we get to, you know, we're both working on that, being able to have conversations on it. So energetically, there's a dance happening in the field. And then also in her field, and I know you experienced this with me at the retreat, and you said there were moments where, you know, that projections and externalizations, because I move very fast and things getting done and feeling that you can't keep up. And then, so then you look for the lead as the person, because that energy that they're demonstrating. And I see that with Heather too. I just caught that yesterday. So then she waits for my lead. And then the dance of that continues, the hostility, because I don't see her, that she's not owning her own, you know, that she's merging and identifying with me and my energy, and also that's hostility and resentment.
And there's where you need to take a breath.
Yeah. I could
Right in the middle of that, it might be a good time to just allow yourself to hold her as present in front of you, and this energy up, and allow any physiological resistance to just soften as the breath moves through, cleans it out.
And that's what I got as a kid, right? That same pattern of resentment and hostility towards me.
And of course, it wasn't about you.
Yeah, I know.
Breathing with you.
Yeah.
Thank you both for bringing this whole subtle level of energy to the whole community, for opening, moving through.
And thank you for holding space.
You absolutely have it. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Thank you all, and we'll look forward to meeting again tomorrow. Blessings.
Thank you.
Blessings.